Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and get started here. Let's see. Okay, how to think like a CEO. So this is text message of a lady that I called and left a message with. So I left a message with her. If you can see that, hopefully you can. So I left a message, a voicemail for her, and then she texted. I asked her to either call me back or text me back, and she texted me back, and we booked an appointment. Okay, so I'm going to ask that if you guys do have any questions, I'm going to ask that you type them on here or either text me on my cell phone. But as far as thinking like a CEO, I sent a text message to my leaders the other day, and basically, from my standpoint, if you were to ask me, if Barry Clarkson were to ask me to get up and teach on think like a CEO, okay? So number one, if I think like a CEO, that means I've got to drive my business forward, okay? I've got to drive my business forward. Okay, hey, Shirley, my cell number is 919-961-2075. So if anybody has a question, they can either type it on here like Shirley's question, or they can text me, and I'm glad to answer it. So thinking like a CEO is driving our business forward, okay? None of us, if we're going to be a CEO, none of us has the ability to not drive our business forward. I mean, think about it. One of the things that Barry Clarkson taught me a long time ago, and he used to talk about it quite a bit. I haven't heard him mention this in a while, but to me, it painted a picture. But if you're a real CEO, you've got to answer to your board of directors, okay? And so if you're running your business and you act like you don't have to answer to your board of directors, then I promise you that what you actually have is a hobby. And you may even be doing pretty well in your hobby. Your hobby may be making you money. It may even be making you a lot of money. But I will tell you, the person that ends up winning in this business long term is the person that acts like a CEO. And every single CEO has to answer to their board of directors. And so we're talking about moving our needle forward. So number one question is this. Okay, or number one, not so much question, but number one tip from my standpoint is that you've got to have your company in front of you all the time. And here's what I mean by that. You got to draw your group out, okay? You got to draw your group out. And there's a lot of different ways of drawing your group, but the most simple way to teach you tonight is that you got to figure out how to put you at the top of a piece of paper. And then you've got to learn how to draw out who's on your team. How many writing agents do you have on your team? Write them all out there, okay? I tend to draw out the strongest from the left to the weakest to the right, okay? And my point's not necessarily to teach you how to draw out your group tonight. It's just to let you know that, I'll bet you, even if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll bet you can figure out at least how to draw out, how to write out every name that you've got in your agency on a piece of paper, okay? Now, if Jared Ewing or Nick Theodore or Pete Beckman or, if Ollie and Mike are on this call tonight, that they probably, they can draw out certain segments of their team, but they probably need some technology to do it. So so when you draw out your organization, I do want you to think this way. Number one, draw out how many people you have in your organization that is currently writing at least one application a week, okay? Draw that out, okay? Now, on another sheet of paper, draw out everybody in your organization that could be writing an application a week. They're not, but they could be, okay? So if you look at both of those groups, if you look at everybody that's writing an application a week versus everybody that could be, should be, but it's not, okay? I didn't say snot, I said it's, but it's, they're not, okay? It will give you different to-do list, because if I were to say, okay, so what's your game plan on everybody in your organization that's writing a piece of business a week? What's your game plan to help get them better? Okay, I understand you. Okay, so now if we look at your second group that you drew out there, what's your game plan to get all those people that you have inside of your organization, and they should be writing a piece of business every week, but for some reason they're not? What's your game plan with them? Okay. Now, I will tell you this. If I were mentoring you personally, I would dive in a little bit deeper, because sometimes we can spend way too much time on that group right there that could be, should be, but aren't. Okay. At some point in time, we just got to realize, I'm not saying not to let them know we love them, but I'm saying at some point in time in everybody's business, they have to take ownership of what they do. Okay, ownership is part of our core values, and they have to take ownership. They have to own their opportunity, and we hopefully will empower them. The one thing that I can say about my purpose and the thing that drives me in my business is I hope that I create an atmosphere on this Zoom meeting, on GroupMe. I hope that I create an atmosphere that truly helps you be your best. I hope that we encourage you to grow physically. I hope that we encourage you to grow mentally. And I hope that we're encouraging you to grow spiritually. I think all three areas of growth is vital to not only the success of your business, but also the overall joy and happiness of your life, okay? So number one in thinking like a CEO is develop the habit of drawing your group out. I promise you, the better you get at that, the more efficient you'll be at creating your all-important to-do list. Because at the end of the day, you're the influencer, you're the magic in your organization, and your to-do list matters, okay? So number two, how many writing agents do you have? Okay, I want you to learn how to interrogate the strength of your organization from a sales standpoint. How many writing agents do you have? Number three is, how many builders do you have? This is a separate group. This is a separate question. How many people do you have that's engaging in building their team and they're actually getting results? How many of those people do you have? Okay. So I hope I didn't cover those questions too quick. I hope I didn't cover them, too much together. But I am trying to condense this training tonight down. I did promise I'd get you guys off, and those of you Monday Night Football fanatics, get you back watching two of the greatest quarterbacks in the league. We got the old guy and the young guy, right? So anyway, so number one, draw your group out. Number two, learn how, if you're going to think like a CEO, you've got to learn how to interrogate your reality at all times in this business. Number one, you need to know how strong your sales organization is. And number two, you need to know how strong your business building organization is. And here's a couple questions, or here's a main question that I have for you. And that is, what's your game plan over the next 30 to 45 days? Because that's all it takes. What's your game plan to go sales manager? Sales managers, 3 writing agents, and $12,000 in issue paid annualized premium per month, not a week, but per month. So number one, are you a qualified sales manager? If you are, great. If you are, great. So John, so my next goal would be district manager. No. Your next goal would be to go sales manager one more time. I get what you're saying now. So going sales manager twice actually takes me to district manager. That's right. So then what's my next goal? RM? No, your next goal is to go sales manager a third time. So going RM is just going sales manager 3 different times. When you put a batch of width in, which we've already talked about, okay, thinking like a CEO, okay, when you put a batch of width in, you put 6 to 8 people in, you identify 2 to 3. 6 to 8, 2 to 3. 6 to 8, 2 to 3. So you put 3 different batches in of 6 to 8, and you're going to identify, you're going to be able to go sales manager 3 different times. And going sales manager 3 different times gives you a great base for you to build an RM ship, which you're going to have 10 unique writers. You're going to do way more than $50,000 a month. But you're going to also you're going to start identifying some people that, in addition to sales, in addition to making money on their own pen, these people are going to be excited about going out there and creating their own distribution channels, and they're going to be fighting to go sales manager. So what are you doing to build your team? You're going sales manager. It's just different waves, okay? The people that's coming on behind you, how are they going to learn how to build? By watching you. What are they going to do? They're going to go out there and go sales manager. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a massive sales manager producing factory inside of your team. And when you produce a sales manager factory inside your team, you can't help but to have an RM factory in the process of developing. So I hope that makes some sense tonight. I'm going to see if there's any questions real quick. Let's see here. Okay. I don't think there's any questions. So, hey, thanks guys for plugging in. I appreciate you guys big time. This organization has such massive momentum going right now. It's crazy. We've got New Orleans. We're going to be in New Orleans on Wednesday night and Thursday of this week. The following week, we're going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. That's going to be next Tuesday on September the 17th. Then the following Tuesday on September 24th, we're going to be in Lexington, South Carolina, which is right beside of Columbia, South Carolina. So guys, I am so fired up about all of those meetings, all of those ETCs coming up. I hope that you really do accept the challenge of thinking like a CEO and moving your business forward. We're right now in the very best growth months of the entire year. What you guys are going to be able to do over the next 4 months is absolutely you're going to be able to explode your business. So I hope tonight helped. If you have any questions that linger or that you think about after we get off, feel free to buzz me. Thanks so much. God bless.